YouTube. If you're noticing, and my co-host might have told me that he couldn't be here tonight, or or Mike Langworthy, the contract negotiations are getting fierce, is what he's trying to tell me. So if you've never been to our show, welcome Niko's family. And I know there are some Hollanders on the box office roster. So we'll get folks checked in here. If you've never been to our club, it's a virtual comedy club. So we'll get folks filed in. We do stream on the YouTube, and we're here in the Zoom. You're welcome to keep your microphone on, your camera on, if that helps you enjoy the show and helps us hear and see you laugh. You're welcome to turn those off if that's going to interrupt the show, or I'll find a way to do that. It's a Zoom, and I have fun little controls. You're seeing Gladys. Speaking of controls, that woman rocks that register. Absolute record, 122 items at the Piggly Wiggly in Bardstown Road, Louisville, Kentucky. Andres, you know what I'm talking about when I say items per minute.
Been there.
Fastest cashier, both on the checkout and in the break room. Okay. Some of you put that together. So thanks to our VIPs. That's Gladys's big deal, and she wants to make sure we say a special thanks to people who purchased our VIP ticket. Amanda Bro, thank you, and congratulations on your team, by the way. Congratulations in reference to a team is in no way a reflection of a team that kicks the ball and wears the orange. Not that team. Go Pats, by the way, no reference to some sort of team that kicks the ball. Merely Pat's sub shop. Go Pats.
A win is a win.
Right.
We'll take it.
Colleen Lukoff, thanks and welcome. You're a VIP. Yale Hollander, thank you and welcome. You're a VIP. VIP seating down front, general admission. Gladys will tell you upstairs in the balcony. She'll be curt about it. What can I say? She's a good woman, a good-hearted woman in love with a good time and charity is what Gladys is. And that's what Elevating Connections is. They're a good time and charity, and they join us every week, and we enjoy the company of Stacey Sanders, who's going to tell you a little bit about Elevating Connections, and then on with our Wicked Awesome Comedy Show, which has already started, but we take a moment to be like, charity, Stacey. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. I appreciate the moment. I'm Stacey Sanders. I'm the founder and executive director of Elevating Connections, and side note, lifelong Broncos fan, just saying. So we reunite siblings separated in foster care, and we raise youth voice for older youth who've emancipated out of the system. We do it through spoken word, song, comedy, art. We've added comedy this fall. I'm very excited about that. You'll hear more about what we do here in a little bit, but I want to give a shout out to Chuck. We had our annual fundraising event on Friday night. We pivoted because that's the word of the year, among other words that nice people don't say. That's not true. I say it all the time, just not here. We had to pivot because of the pandemic, and we had our fundraising event virtually, and it was a huge success. And Chuck was the MC and producer, and so lots of things happening this year that I couldn't do without Chuck or Colorado Comedy Show. So thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Bam. Stacey, great birthday party, super wine. I enjoyed it, and thank you for inviting me. And sorry we didn't raise enough money, but
we raised money.
A pretty good day at the box office here. So the nice folks here are helping to make up for the rich people who I think are donating Trump this year. I'm not sure. I don't know. I made a Trump joke early in the show yesterday, and that was a bad call. I think never at a fundraiser. They're the ones with the money, right? Right? Like I should have just.
No, that wasn't it.
Right. I agree, Stacey. But you know what we're trying to do, and we just appreciate you, and we'll get them next year. Oh
yeah, I think checks are coming. We'll see. Right. Those folks don't like the Zoom, so I think they just didn't come to the Zoom.
Right. Yeah. Hard to go to a fancy dinner via Zoom. Right. But you can go to a Wicked Awesome. I mean, you can go to ours. Look, we'll get you this cake. Look at that. That's buttercream frosting, folks. We don't dick around.
It's delicious.
What is it?
Chef Mark Scapone is our virtual chef, super talented. He makes the candles, is what I'm trying to tell you. And we do donate 10% of any of our private event fees or your ticket sales to Elevating Connections. And we'll definitely chat more about that. Our headliner is here, Niko Lukoff, and Mike Langworthy is here. So
I got here just in the Niko Time.
right.
And Stacy was giving her first little spiel about
right. And on screen is Chef Mark Scapone. Always with the salads, by the way. Always.
Well, you know, he's a healthy eater, and a lot of people don't know that about him.
Right.
A lot of people don't know anything about him.
25. Mike, I'm gonna skip through this, show you a feature that we're gonna start next week. It's a game that's gonna happen in the pre-show. Should you ever arrive on time?
Starting next week, we're gonna be doing this?
Well, we were gonna do it if you showed up on time, but that didn't happen. So
I was
next week,
busy
folks,
solving a problem for my family. No big deal. You know?
Right, it isn't a big deal. It's we're just rocking and rolling. I certainly don't, mean to embarrass you, but I totally forgot these slides. We're here, and I have nothing else to do but talk through the next two of them. So
if I
next
were to
week,
say, two Jews walk into a bar. The bartender says shalom.
right.
To
So before the show, we'll do a little bit of joking. We'll do a little fill in the blanks. Maybe the folks playing at home will want to say something. My car is so dirty. And then, I watched the Dean Martin roast. So I was like, we got to do more, like old school joke. So
your mom is so fat.
Right. But hey, that's not nice. She's been on Weight Watchers, and virtual dinners don't have any points.
But you know what? She's just a pig. Doesn't matter whether it's virtual or not.
Right. Well, listen, I'm glad you're here, Mike, because this part of the show, I couldn't have done it. I was faking being cheery, Mike, without you, but we like to have a sing-along to sing the theme song, everybody. So the way we do sing-alongs here is you just follow the bouncing golden globe. So first, we'll just. I like to ask a warm-up question. En français, where is there?
And it's
right.
La la la.
La la la. So we're gonna warm up, everybody. Follow the bouncing golden globe. Mike is a Golden Globe winning television writer. He doesn't brag about it, but I do every week, for God's sakes.
Naturally, it follows as night to day that I can sing.
Right. And, helps us raise money for the Wicked Cool charity. What I'm saying. So sing along, folks. Mike will lead the song. And la 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 la. Oh, you did great. You know what? I can even hear the people on YouTube.
I know. La
la la. Oh, you're doing great.
Sister watches on YouTube. She's got a good voice.
So let's sing the theme song and then into the show, everyone. Mike will sing the theme song, and you all follow along. Come on, everybody. It's time for the apocalypse. We invited all our friends. Good friends like you.
Good friends like you.
So come on, everybody. It's time for
notes.
It's time for we went through it. We went too fast. Sorry, everybody.
It's time for a tempo.
Right.
Well, we set our own tempo.
Today's episode is called In the Niko Time. Your headliner tonight, Niko Lukoff. And VIP seating is down front. We are trying to respect social distancing. Balcony seating up in the general admission areas in the balconies. That's Mike's friends from Michigan.
Nobody's wearing a mask. It's a Michigan party.
Yeah. Right. And, purchase a drink and or register to vote. Come on, Michigan, do the right thing. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and certainly, with a lot of fanfare, please welcome the ApocaLips Comedy Show. That right there is my Langworthy, your host,
What a
and
show
I'll
we
be
got.
Chuck Roy, a gorgeous
What a
bear. And today, folks, our show is brought to you by a brand new sponsor, Plan to Vote.
Oh, look at this. Woo!
Look at that, Mike.
Hello.
Look at that. They got you.
You got the car from the original Topper movie for us.
You're doing,
The Boat-tail Buick.
you're doing so great with the promotion, Mike. They got you the new car,
I
and
like it.
you know, voter turnout is doing well. But if you haven't made your plan to vote, everybody.
Yep,
So
Plan to vote.
nice work, Mike. And if you've never been to the show, Mike and I start with just sometimes a little story, or today we're gonna a little bit of history facts
A little
for
bit of
you.
history of the
Mike's sort of
show.
a vault
We
of
purchased a
knowledge.
chalet up in one of the towns in
Which
the
one?
Hills.
Just outside Breckenridge, sort of near Frisco, over by Granby and over by Aspen. This is the Colorado Comedy Show's
Comedy
virtual
show.
event center.
With
Here in the heart of Denver, all the way to the mountains. It's
absolutely.
fantastic.
This is where the
And-
magic happens. This is the room that Chuck and I go into every day, and we make up all the jokes that make you guys laugh so much.
And you're correct, Yale. That is
And
a major.
unfortunately, some
award.
idiot, a janitor or something, walked in and he dumped this thing in the middle of the view, so you can't quite see the mountains. I don't know what it is. It's just some kind of
It's
thing.
fragile, is what it is.
Well,
It happens to be.
Well, it's about ready to fall over, eh?
Right.
So let's be fragile.
Right. Well, we can't all carry around our Golden Globe, but we can just casually leave our Kennedy Center Award for Innovative Teaching in.
Oh,
key
Kennedy!
particular
Oh my God,
places.
I've completely forgot. That's the Kennedy. That's the international. That's actually Marilyn Monroe's leg. That's how Kennedy it is. Happy award to you. Happy award to you. Happy Innovative Online Teaching Award.
Right.
And I hope she's got a brother. Somebody, I have somebody for Chuck to talk to while she's in.
Lots of fun things for you to look up on Wikipedia already, those of you out
Absolutely.
there on the YouTube. And what
Absolutely.
you're
Man wearing pince-nez.
looking at on screen, today we wanted to tell you the history of 2 or 3 key phrases that are known in the lexicon. And first would be Nick of Time.
Yes. Nick of Time.
And English, Mike, I think
What?
you know the history of this young man, but I'll quickly remind you that.
Well, just let me know what you would like me to tell them, and I
Well,
would be happy to do that.
You know about this young man, and Nick of Time actually comes from an English phrase where it was very common to go from garden to garden and
Yep.
steal the herb thyme.
Yep.
So everyone was
They
nicking
nick some time.
some time, and this here. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, he's the man that invented the herb thyme.
right.
He took turmeric, and he took one of the original black peppers that they got from Sumatra. He ground them together, put them in the ground. Lo and behold, it came up green, and it turned out to be thyme, which has an interesting piquant flavor, but is not quite pepper. It's not quite turmeric either. So it's one of the reasons it's not an Indian food. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, and don't run out of time, because if you do run out of time, you won't be able to get your Nick of Time album by Bonnie Raitt, her greatest album. And you'll have to buy these pince-nez or pince-nez glasses that you're wearing. Absolutely. For sure.
Wow. I think we've nicked all the jokes out of this possible.
Well,
Mike.
possibly, unless you wanted to do the celluloid collar joke. 2 celluloid collars walk into a bar. They say, "Hey, we're just here in the neck of time." Oh,
Oh, hello.
get it?
hello.
Because they're collars, neck,
Hey,
collar. Whoa.
Hey, folks, the laughs don't just stop here. They're going to continue.
Oh, no, they don't. They don't stop here. And you get educated while you're laughing. And look at this.
Now, you may have heard the saying, a penny saved is a penny earned. And did you know that the original spelling was U-R-N-E-D? So the theory was that originally, if you cremated a woman named Penny, you would save her soul.
Sure.
Therefore, a penny saved would become a penny
For those of you who are wondering how Billy the Kid got out of jail the first couple of times, this is it. He dressed like this, and he said, "Hello, I'd like to get an urn for my grandfather who died," which, by the way, is also how grandfather clock came about. Is you would hang a chain on two dead grandfathers, and every 24 hours you'd shift so one was taller than the other, and then they would go back. It was a smelly clock, but it was deadly accurate. Deadly accurate.
Smelly clock is my nickname on Grindr. Mike, I think
Off for a cold one.
Mike, you're on fire, by the way. The Englewood Fire Department is pulling up, if you can hear.
Yeah, that's we like that. And
outside. Mike, this last photo is taken at this is the committee to determine who exactly it was of the four of these people that was the first person to say, "You know what I'm saying." And Mike, I think you know what I'm saying here. And
it was the guy on the left.
Right. You know what I'm
saying.
saying.
Robert McNamara. The guy on the far left was Robert McNamara. This is him listening to some of the things that nobody knew J. Edgar Hoover was doing until he was dead. And these other three people are just confirming that they are Russian spies trying to flip the election this year. So there's Ivana Layoff, who's second from the right. And then there's Igor Gore. So he's Igor Gore. And of course, in the middle is Natasha, I wear men's clothes.
And forgive me if I'm wrong, Mike, but they're listening to the table reading of Robin Williams' Good Morning Vietnam.
Yes, they are.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Mike, we really have taken everybody on sort of a word adventure here today. And we've got a packed show full of
then we should probably get right to it.
Comedians. I think we seem to be way in the middle of it.
This wouldn't be Andreas Becerril, would it?
Right. Talk about, having to follow the heat.
Well, Andreas Becerril is actually the Spanish word for heat.
It's true.
Yeah. Everybody thinks it's caliente, but no, it's Andreas Becerril.
Absolutely funny, and we're so lucky to have him. Please welcome Andreas Becerril, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Andreas.
Hey, thank you, Chuck. I'm glad to be here. I haven't gotten to do a lot of live comedy since we pivoted or whatever the shit, and so just I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to do it, and unless I felt like I was at home, so I decided to do the show right off of Colfax in my car because that's the closest I could to feeling back to the old days,
You used to put some rooms up on that street, as I recall.
Yeah. So this is great. I love it. I've seen so many homeless people stab each other today already. And that was before the sun was down. So who knows what's going to happen tonight. It's great. My name is Andreas. I am living in my car currently, apparently. Working the lights. Sorry, technical difficulties in these trying times. But I'm Mexican, if you haven't figured it out. My last name actually means in heat. My family fucks a lot. I'm a father. You guys know about families. You guys are always trying to create new ones with old pieces. I respect that. So thank you to Stacy for putting this together. Honestly, this feels like we were all adopted, truthfully, just a bunch of misfits. We're comedians. There's no way our parents love us. So this is good. It's nice. What's been new with me? I am essential. That was my not really a joke. I just like to rub it in everyone's face. No, I work at a grocery store. That's been interesting. I'm sure you guys have heard of grocery stores. If you haven't, that's where rich people send poor people to shop for them and then drop it off. I'm sure half of you are Instacart workers. That joke should have killed.
Killed my brother.
I I like the fact that the world has changed so much and we're all, everyone's working 2-3 jobs and all these things that used to be sad are just normal now. I also like that people live in their cars now, but now it's cool, I guess, like before when you used to smoke weed in your car and sleep in it, you were homeless. Now, like, mommy and daddy bought you that van, which is weird to me. So, the times they are changing. I've been noticing. I miss having real connections with people. I will say though, I did gain weight during the beginning of this quarantine. I gained weight like a lot of people, and I recently started working on it. I had gained about 20 pounds, and I lost about 10 already of the 20 that I gained. Yeah, but this camera adds 10, so that's fucked. So this has been real eye-opening. I will say my mustache looks better on this screen than it does in real life, which is nice. I'll give it that. I think the hardest part about online comedy right now is the crowd work. Like people can just mute themselves if they don't want to talk to you. See, Niko, will you actually move your face? Niko was just so standing still. I thought he was just a picture for a second. That's good. Doing your first headlining set tonight. That's great. That's in a pandemic. What a time. You'll tell your kids about this. In my day, we had a headline to the top
10 miles to school every day.
Yeah. So that's great. I hope you get a real headline set in the public with the real, like, not this is real. Who am I kidding? This is as real as it's ever going to be. But I hope you get to, I hope someone can throw a drink at you. You know what I mean? Like I hope you can have that fun of knowing that anything could go really wrong besides like you losing Wi-Fi or whatever the fuck. Because when you bomb here, you can just tell yourself, oh, everyone was on mute. But in real life, it just gets so much harder to lie to yourself. You still do it. Don't worry. You'll be like me. I'm a student of Chuck Roy, and that's probably don't take that as any sort of incentive. Like, that's just not against him. I knew I knew that this. He's great. Chuck taught me a lot of things. I wish I had just listened. No, this is great. It's been hard. I'm following Chuck's rules, not looking at my joke book, because honestly, not because I'm too professional to not look at it. I just don't want to cry from all the sad things I've written. So it's been good. I was talking about being a dad, and it's being like, no one tells you how hard it is to actually be a dad. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these things you have to explain to children that you never thought you would. Like, no one ever explained sex well to me, and how do you explain, like, no, like, sex is already scary enough, and explaining it to someone that you made, even harder, but not nearly as scary, as explaining death. How do you explain death to a child? You know what I mean? Like, I've had to explain like 200,000 people are dead, and it's because someone sneezed on them. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, I've had to explain, like, it's tiresome. It really is to have to, like, I'm tired of having to tell my son every time me and whatever girlfriend I have that month have broken up. I'm tired of telling him that his new mom is dead. It's getting real too dark. Even in these trying times, you can still be too dark. I found out. I don't know. It's funny. Honestly, I thought the future would be more cyberpunky. I thought we'd all have like chips in our head and robot eyes or something. And instead we all get to look like cowboys or whatever the hell. It feels like every day is Halloween when you get to pick your mask. You know what I mean? But as someone who's been wearing a mask his whole life, this is perfect, I say. It's weird. Honestly, it's not my fault. It's not cultural appropriation if my beard chooses to look like Fu Manchu, right? That's just, I don't have to explain myself to anyone. That's just genetics. Like, where? You ever done an online show and realize how ugly you are? This is tough. Okay. Well, you guys, now that I
every
realize,
Sunday night.
oh, well, hats off to you for hitting it every. You're like, fuck it, here we go again.
Yeah, I know.
But thank you guys so much for having me. I was just asked to do a little time because we got so many other comics. So I've been Andreas Becerril, and I guess I'm done. Thanks a lot.
Andreas Becerril, ladies and
Congrats.
gentlemen. It isn't telling your kids that their new mom is dead every month. It's having to hold those toilet funerals for them. That's the problem. It doesn't
very
seem like
funny,
she wants to
Andreas.
go, Dad. Shut up. I know a dead person when I see one.
Oh, the nice, lighthearted family humor is what we're known for here, everyone.
Oh, that's what we do. We do. Lighthearted family. Family,
Just,
made up family, whatever.
yeah.
Hey, I was named an essential worker and my parents appealed it. They said, no, we've had him his whole life. He's not essential. There's no way. It's not an accident. Do you have a role for an accidental worker? Because that's what best describes our son. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Dad, we have a great act ahead.
Do we really? I mean,
Right. Mike, we met this next act on your show Monday nights, and it's been a pleasure. And super glad to have him here along with tons of other fun stars. Would you all please welcome Yale Hollander?
Yale Hollander.
Hey,
here is Yale Hollander.
That's me. Hey, let's get to the pandering part of the program, if we shall. How about those Broncos? Hooray! Good job. All I can say is that I've been saying Okuweg Bunam 4 years longer than you have. Another proud product of the University of Missouri that my property tax dollars paid for his education. Him and Drew Luck. Okay, we've got that out of the way. My name, of course, is Yale Hollander, otherwise known as the comedian who really should know better than to wear bold horizontal stripes at his height and weight. A little bit about me. I was this summer named by St. Louis Magazine, which is a legitimate magazine, by the way. It actually is in print. I was named the most enterprising comedian in St. Louis, which I think is a nice way of saying I work really hard, but I'm not terribly funny. But here is what happened to me. I got a full page in St. Louis Magazine recognizing me as St. Louis's most enterprising comedian. And I thought that was a pretty big deal. And then I turned the page and noticed that a pastrami sandwich also a full page in St. Louis
Pastrami's
Magazine.
delicious.
So I don't know where the hell I stand in this town. But I did, I was proud enough of it to send a copy to my dad. He doesn't live here in St. Louis, so obviously he would have no reason to get St. Louis Magazine. He gets I Live Somewhere Else magazine. So I sent him a copy of the magazine, and he called me up to let me know that he got it. And I said, well, it's a full page in a magazine about me. They like me. And he's like, yeah, not why I paid for you to go to law school, though. You lose some. Hey, let's talk about some current events, if that's all right.
Let's do.
And well, thank you so much, Mike. Phil Collins, the legendary Phil Collins, was in the news because he evicted his wife from the house, his ex-wife from the house that they had been sharing for several years because she got remarried behind his back. There must be some misunderstanding. He's clearly taking it all too hard.
Where does she live now?
But I mean, come on. I mean, what was the genesis of that arrangement? I mean, who lives with their ex-wife? I mean, the chances of that succeeding are against all odds. It's not like he's, short on money or anything. I mean, he could have bought her a condo or an apartment. It doesn't have to be like a 5-bedroom apartment, or it could have been just a studio. So I don't get it. But I'm not in that echelon. Although I do have more hair. Donald Trump. You all familiar with this guy, Donald Trump? Okay.
Yeah.
President of the United States catches COVID-19, okay?
Uh-huh.
This is a man who is not in good physical shape, very clearly, very overweight, among other suspected or actual maladies. He had it for like 4 days and then was out of the hospital and everything was hunky-dory. Isn't it just like Donald Trump to worm his way out of a taxing situation? But the executive incompetence in this country is also found right here in my state of Missouri. The state of Missouri is run by a guy, is governed by a guy named Mike Parson, who is a bona fide frontier imbecile. That's all. Okay, he's an anti-masker, even though he got COVID. Okay, but he was on the news yesterday because he's taking a lot of criticism for the fact that the number of COVID patients in Missouri is going up and the number of positive tests is going up. And he says the reason why the number of positive tests is going up, the percentage of positive tests is going up, is because they're testing more people. I mean, the guy doesn't understand that there's no correlation between volume and percentage. Okay, this guy is so dumb that I fully expect to wake up one morning, turn on the news, and find out that he has cashed out the entire treasury for the state of Missouri and traded it for a pouch of magic beads. That's how dumb this guy is. I do want to give Mike thanks, and Chuck, of course, thanks for having me on tonight. You have rescued me from another night of having to sit and watch television with my wife. Now, we do not have what you would call overlapping interest in television. I enjoy the classics. I enjoy public television. I enjoy learning stuff. She, on the other hand, likes crap. Okay. She watches the show called The Property Brothers. Okay, so I sit down to watch it one night, and I'm like, now hold on just a second. Okay, so they're twins, the Property Brothers. They're twins, and one of them is a contractor, and one of them is a real estate professional. And their last name is Property? How ironic is that? And she's like, are you a fucking idiot? She said, that's not irony, that's coincidence. So she also likes to watch Dr. Phil, or as I like to call him, Mr. Phil. I mean, okay, he is technically a doctor. He's got a PhD. He's got a PhD in clinical psychology. He wrote his doctoral thesis on the psychological impact of rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so if people are going to Dr. Phil with a family crisis, it better be that grandma screams in agony every time she lifts up a cast iron skillet. Okay? Because that's the only kind of family problem that he can solve. I mean, look, I don't want to get too high and mighty or everything like that, but I am a lawyer. I do have a law degree. That is a doctor of jurisprudence. I don't call myself Dr. Yale, okay? I can fix a traffic ticket, but I cannot fix your fucked up family, okay? So let's just call him Mr. Phil, or maybe even Phil. We here in the state of Missouri, of course, are governed by an imbecile, but the people here are dumb too, okay? I was overhearing a conversation the other day between two people, and one of them said, ever since I found out that the COVID came from China, I've stopped eating Chinese food.
What?
It's like, you can't catch a disease because you're eating the food of a culture from a certain country. Okay, unless it's the kind of culture that comes in a petri dish. All right, that's not the way that works. There is no cultural transitive property of foodborne illness. Okay, I mean, if that was the case, if you could actually catch a culture's physical maladies by eating their food, every time a Gentile man bit into a bagel, his foreskin would fall off. It's just not the way that works. All right. I want to close on this, and I always put this one last because I don't like to sound like a show off. I don't like to sound like a big shot or anything, but I recently was informed that I was entitled to an upgrade of my cell phone. Please hold your applause.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Moneybags.
So I go to, what was a free upgrade? Come on, I am Jewish. So I go to the phone store at the mall. Okay. And don't consider me a hero because I went to the mall. Because the last time I went to the mall, I mean, there was trauma. I had a very traumatic experience the last time I went to the mall. I walked into a department store and there's a sign right inside the entrance that says "Fat guys not welcome." Okay, I paraphrase. What it said was escalator to men's department is broken. But I mean, okay. So I go to the phone store. I give the guy my cell phone number. He looks at it. He's like, yeah, you are definitely entitled to an upgrade. Problem is we've got several people in front of you. It's going to be at least 40 minutes. I'm like, that's okay. I'm in a mall. I'll go down, head over to the food court or something like that and kill some time. You just text me or call me whenever it's my turn up. And he says, and I quote, verbatim, "I have no way of doing that." Okay, this is a guy I just gave my phone number to who was in a store with like 135 other phones, but he has no way of calling me or texting me. So I decided to take my chances because after all, even though I was obviously dealing with an upgradable phone, it still had a clock on it. So I knew when 40 minutes was. So I go down the mall, I go to the food court, I get myself an ice cream cone, as we do. Was entitled to cell phone upgrades. We do treat ourselves occasionally. I had been gone maybe 5 minutes, and can you guess what happened? I got maybe 2 bites into that ice cream cone. Can you guess what happened? Of course you can. You've been paying attention. I shit my pants. And this has been the story of how I learned I'm lactose intolerant. That's my time. Thank you all very much.
Hey, you kids just starting out in comedy, always close with your shit in your pants joke. Another joke you're going to be one to follow. Just kidding. Yale Hollander, ladies and gentlemen, has got a brother named Harvard and a brother named Princeton. We're going to be going along with the show in just a moment, but I think first there's some stuff that Chuck would like to say on behalf of
well, we do have quite a few promotional announcements, Mike. We'll rip right through them. We are streaming on the YouTube. We spoke earlier about your terrific show. Don't forget, next week is going to be the Halloween show. That'll be very fun, virtual Halloween themed party. And then we'll be virtually live from Kit Carson, Colorado. Right? Isn't that fun, Amanda? Like jack shit happens there. But we're gonna go virtually. I didn't even think anyone would be excited, but Amanda is, so I'm thrilled. And then virtual British holiday baking love story. We're gonna parody Hallmark movies, and then cornucopia of Thanksgiving jokes. Virtually the first Thanksgiving comedy show. Virtually Thanksgiving leftovers. Don't forget my dirty Christmas show. Very fun. I'm working out, getting pumped again, and
JJ Watt called. He wants his body back.
Right. More and more holiday shows. Lifestyles of the Virtually Jolly on December 13th. And then New Year's Eve resolution virtual helpline. So if you're struggling with your New Year's resolution, we'll be here at the ApocaLips to help you all the way out through New Year's Eve, 7 p.m., which is New Year's like nowhere. It's out in This is a show for people who want to wrap this up early.
New Year's Eve. The island of Bermuda, for those of you.
If I could have done this like December 26th, we've been like,
we're ready.
New Year's Eve, Inauguration Day, Biden, all in one fell swoop. That's how I'd like to do that. So those are the upcoming shows. And then, Mike, we do thank yous here. So
yes,
we want to make sure we thank our VIPs.
We're
Amanda,
grateful
Rick,
for everyone who runs and watches the show.
Right, and congratulations on your team that kicks the ball. And Colleen Lukoff, congratulations. You're a VIP as well today. And Leanne Hollander, welcome. Thank you, VIPs. You get a gift when you're a VIP. And the gift today is Chambord. You get to imagine owning Chambord Castle. Amanda, feel free.
I don't know this, Chuck, but this is the castle that half of the word champagne was named after.
Wow, that's illuminating.
I don't know where the pain part came, because I've never felt any when I was drinking champagne.
Right, just champ.
I can't help noticing that there's a little something in the window there.
Look, Mike, people might want some inspiration while they're staying in Chambord. So
absolutely, it's a tiny little thing, but it looks very fragile to me.
It's in the window, Mike, and of the reading room.
Or as Yale would say, there's something in the window tonight.
Yeah.
There's something in the window tonight.
It's called.
All right.
Oh, look. Look, Mike, remember when you sailed on a barrel over?
Absolutely. This is about the time I went over the Seine in a barrel.
Right. So this time you're just floating on your barrel, and that was pretty fun. I forgot you were going to float on your barrel. So
I love hooping. Right.
You're just having a big day. And then VIPs, you also get some virtual Chambord. You just put that in your virtual bar. That was fancy in our house. That's a big deal.
I got hives.
It's terrible, but it smells great.
I wanted you to get a watch because the episode is Niko Time. So, but you got also you get this little kitty virtually. Just, the cat, the watch. Feel free. Pick the rings if you want. Whatever, one finger at a time, however you want to do that. And general admission members, we have gifts for you. Please don't feel like you're not special, but please just feel at least $15 less special than people in the VIP section, if you don't mind to do that. We have today for you, you get to stay here anytime you want.
Well, I couldn't help noticing that I saw a Plymouth satellite as big as a whale out in front of this place.
People like to read, Mike.
What would the name of it? This is the Love Shack?
This is the Love Shack. So your very own Love Shack.
The little old place where I like to get together.
Yeah. And just maybe read by the light of your Kennedy Center Award.
Got another fragile little thing in the side there.
Yes, Mike. And speaking of fragile, you also get this cool bike, flower pot thingy.
They say in French it has handlebars.
And, it's all fun and frivolous, but we do have a very special gift with us every week, and that's our charity spotlight. And we'd love to talk to Stacy Sanders and learn the latest of what's going on at Elevating Connections. You had the big dinner, so I hope you want to clue everyone in and how you doing, and congratulations on the big birthday.
Thank you. I love talking about what I do, so thanks for giving me the opportunity every week. So just to refresh from half an hour ago, I am the founder and executive director of Elevating Connections. We do two things. We reunite siblings separated in foster care, because that's the thing. Kids get removed from their home, and for a variety of reasons, they also are sometimes separated from their siblings far too often. So we provide support and programming and connection. And I'm going to talk about that here in a sec. And then we also work with older youth who've emancipated out of the system, who haven't found a permanent connection or a permanent home. And so we're here to support them through helping them find their voice through spoken word. We had our third annual poetry jam earlier this year that Chuck helped us produce virtually, and it was our biggest fundraiser of that event ever. And we added comedy, art, and song for the fall, and we have an event coming up in November to let them showcase their voice and be part of their community. Andres mentioned something about connection and not feeling connected because of the pandemic, and that is something that we have focused on quite a bit in the last 7 months of this unprecedented, ridiculous pandemic, and really understanding what the power of connection means. And for the youth we serve, it's an even bigger problem because they can't see each other nearly as much. So siblings who normally get to see each other every day or have more contact before the pandemic are really not seeing each other much. So we were able to have, instead of our overnight camp that we run, we did a day camp. We brought 21 siblings to camp. The older youth we work with, we discovered very quickly when we went to virtual writing workshops that they don't have the same access to the internet as the rest of us because the libraries were closed and coffee shops were closed, and that's where they get their Wi-Fi. So really having to think about equity and access and what connection truly means. And so we've really been pivoting, for lack of a better word, this year in our programming. We provided technology support that Colorado Comedy Shows has helped us with. We raised a lot of money at the Poetry Jam to help with that. We're paying phone bills so youth have hotspots. We've provided tablets so they can go to school, look for jobs, connect to their family and friends. And so when we talk about connection, the youth I serve, they're the poster children, for a better lack of better phrase. So sorry, that's not a good phrase, but they're the picture of what connection really means and how important it truly is. So our event Friday night helped us raise a lot of money that Chuck co-hosted, and Mike and Chuck did our pre-show, which was fantastic. And so that was a very long moment that I had there, but thank you very much for letting me talk about what we do and being such big supports.
Well, I'm glad to take time to talk about what you do. I think everybody knows, that it's effective. It's also important. And we'll just keep updating folks. Like this week, we chatted about, we're trying to do a virtual field trip for the kids to connect with the Community College of Denver, where I teach, so.
Just wanted to chip in with one quick thing, Chuck. And it is very quick. It's that when you're listening, whenever you listen to Stacy talk, everything that Stacy is talking about is stuff that the rest of us basically can just take for granted. And it as much of a benefit as it would be under any circumstances. When you think about, most people don't even think about internet access except in the rare occasions when it goes out, and then they're just all shaking their fists and everything. But these are people who, not only do they not have access to that, a lot of them graduate out of the foster care system without a permanent home, and they don't get to see their siblings because the foster system works in a way that doesn't always get siblings to stay together. And if you think about your own childhood and seeing your brothers and your sisters every single day, and then all of a sudden not having access to them. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about whether or not you want to send a little money Elevating Connections way.
Right, the address is right on your screen if that's where you choose to donate, or when we purchase tickets and such. Here, I know why my name was cruising across the screen. It's time in our show where we normally bring on a comedian from Dear Comics at the Bar. Stephen Young is generally that comedian, but Stephen at the last moment had a little thing called Family, which I think is wicked fun. So. I thought I would do some of what they call the comedy. Well, thank you. I am going to continue to share the screen because Amanda and Rick, I'm not sure if you saw this bit, and then other folks, you're new to knowing me, and I've been able to sort of take one of my favorite routines that never really got laughs in a club without a lot of work. But it works a little better virtually. So I hope you'll enjoy this little tour. I'll take the Colorado Comedy Show's tour bus and we'll go to a maple syrup farm. This is, Rick is from New Hampshire. Ma famille vient du Quebec. And in my family, we're maple syrup farmers. In Rick's neighborhood in Londonderry, apple orchards. Everyone's got an apple orchard. Rick even, made some wood taps for his bar out of apple wood. Like we're traditional people. Apple farming, not that difficult, right? You water some trees. You actually put up a sign, and rich white people go pick them for yourselves. It's really, it's not difficult. Or you hire some people from the Caribbean for 3 weeks. These are the things that happen. Maple syrup farming, even less difficult. Perfect for alcoholics, which in my family, we rock that. We definitely we like whiskey. Rick is showing you a can of maple syrup from my family's farm. Okay, that's how we get maple syrup my
in French.
family. It's very good. And if you're looking on the tree, you see the little bucket. I'm going to teach you some French, okay? Bucket. And the tree, you just, you tap a hole. French, Canadian maple syrup farmers, we are really good at tapping a hole. Now, you put the tap and then you hang a bucket on the tap, and that's what you're seeing. That's maple syrup farming right there. The tree bleeds into the bucket, essentially, is all that happens. The sap goes into the bucket, and then when the bucket's full, you got to bring it au cabin. So Mike and I will show you, take you on a little tour. Here's the next biggest innovation in maple syrup farming. See, you emptying the bucket was just too much work. You had to stop drinking whiskey and go empty the bucket. And that is just frustrating. So what somebody invented, this is one of two major innovations in maple syrup farming throughout history. Somebody invented the O's. That's some fancy French right there, everybody. What I'm saying there, I don't mean to lose you, is O's in English. So they run a O's from the tree, au cabin. The O's goes all the way to the cabin, and that's where they farm the maple syrup. And so, you know, be careful, Mike. There's one other innovation in maple syrup farming. This is the skidoo, not a major innovation in maple syrup farming. It's what happens next is somebody invented a little warning tag. You just in front of on the O's, you got to put a little tag. Mike and I guess, are coming back to see that.
You put the tag on the O's so the skidoo don't go on the rope, you know?
Right, and I'm embarrassed, Mike. The last slide is not in there, which is just humiliating.
Sometimes these come out of the bucket.
Yeah, you can't.
Comedy show signs.
Yeah, you gotta put an orange tag on the O's, or people ride their skidoo, and then their head pops off because they run through the O's. Yes. So that is maple syrup farming, and I hope you feel like you've learned something. That is the oldest snowmobile you've ever seen. It's time to bring up our headliner, ladies and gentlemen. And just so you know, guests and comedians of the ApocaLips stay at this fantastic resort in Fiji. Very true.
Favorite resort.
You can, Stacy, just anytime you want. Just imagine yourself in that pool and soak it in. Like, just relax. You worked hard.
Every day I imagine myself there.
Right.
Burr used to have an island in Fiji. Why? Because people don't judge you there.
Right. Well, speaking of judging people, it's time for your headliner, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to judge him effectively. Ladies and gentlemen, we enjoyed meeting this young man on the open mic. He runs a terrific group on Facebook full of very nice comedians, which is rare. That doesn't.
Excellent comedians. I believe we may have gotten Yale Hollander invited.
Yeah, lots of super fun people. So he's just a good person in the community, and also very funny and super appropriate for the ApocaLips. So would you please welcome Niko Lukoff, ladies and gentlemen. Niko
Thank you so
Lukoff.
much. Thank you. As you can see, folks, I'm coming at you from the general admission shed. And I know Andre's already bailed, but I really am hoping my Wi-Fi doesn't cut out. I'm tethered to an AT&E cell phone, so you know, we'll see. We'll see if I don't get laughs. I'm gonna pretend that's why. The The other day I sat in a tall wooden chair. That's right. It's going to be a really exciting, 10 minutes or so, folks. I sat in a tall wooden chair the other day. It didn't have any armrests. It didn't have a backrest. Like overall, I'd say it was pretty uncomfortable. It's pretty uncomfortable. Then I put a pillow on it. It helped out quite a bit. Yeah, it just turned out needed a stool softener. You know, if you didn't laugh at that, that's okay. That's okay. That was a numb ass joke. That was a numb. I'll maybe sit with it for a while. See what you think. I know. I like that one. I think it's got legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm keeping that. That's solid. The other day I was chatting with this dude on Facebook, and he messages me. He says, "Hey Nico, do you want to go hang out in a Zoom?" I'm like, "Sure." Like, who's doing a Zoom room? Because you folks might know there's a lot of people doing like Zoom room hangs, like big groups of people. He's like, "No, I mean just you and me." I was like, "Whoa, what?" Bump the brakes. We just met on a Zoom open mic 3 days ago. And while in COVID times, that's precisely 3.26 trillion days.
Yeah, really.
I kind of feel like that zoom into the Zoom level of our relationship. And also, I'm straight and happily married, and yes, sometimes those do go together. And I wasn't proud of these thoughts, obviously. I didn't say these things. I'm not a total dick. I'm not Mike. And I was just like,
hey, wait a minute.
And I was like, yeah, why not hop into a Zoom? Why shouldn't we? So we did, and we Zoomed together, just me and him, and we actually had a really good time, wonderful time. We shared lots of fun stories. We discussed lots of interesting topics on this, kind of weird but completely platonic internet date, you could say. And then I realized that's what a podcast is. It's just an internet date with a theme. And that theme could just be having no theme. Oh, I'm sorry, Q&A. The only difference between this and a podcast was a record button, RSS feed, and begging all our friends to listen.
Right.
And then it comes to being like, should we hang out at my podcast or your podcast? My place or your place? Well, let's face it, even if you don't have a place, you probably still have a podcast. What I'm saying is, book me on your themed internet dates because I'm a good time. The other day, my buddy was talking about this thing he does. He's talking about this thing he does where he takes shrooms, mushrooms, and he takes small amounts, like less than you normally take, and he breaks it up throughout the day. And he's like, it does this amazing stuff that changed my life. To which I said, I didn't ask. Also, I'm over here. He's like, no, you don't get it. It's this crazy thing. It does all these things, the neurotransmitters. Oh, it's called microdosing. Microdosing? Why do you need a fancy term to say just a little bit of drugs? I'm like, fine, call it what you want to call it. What do I care? Call it what you want to call it. But here's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start taking just the appropriate amount of flour and sugar and chocolate and eggs and just, prepare them to perfection. And no, I'm not going to be eating dessert all day. I'm going to be micro caking. 10 milligrams of deliciousness at a time to get through the day. No, I'm not baking 36 cupcakes at 6 in the morning. No. I'm macro baking my daily micro cakes. Cupcakes are now to be referred to as micro cakes. Take note, there'll be a test. I got busted in high school for selling weed. Yeah, because you're just thanks. Yeah, because you're just not supposed to do that there. They really frown upon it, and I was just trying to turn frowns upside down, you know? But look, I just made the same mistake that a lot of really passionate people make, and I just, you know, ruined my favorite hobby. Yeah. By turning it into a job. A Zoom full of comedians can relate. This was a job that I obviously wasn't very good at. Like, I screwed up like the main thing you're not supposed to do. Like, you know, look, I was 15 years old. I try not to beat myself up too much about it. I didn't go through training or anything like that. I just knew, I didn't know much about business. I just knew that I was supposed to buy low and sell high.
Yeah. It's the school's fault.
Yeah. I just took it a little too literally, you know? I just skipped that home ec class, I guess. So I did that bit at a Zoom open mic recently, the buy low, sell high, literally pause for laughs out, that whole thing. And as soon as I did that, this dude messages me in the chat. Now, I'm obviously an incredibly professional Zoom comedian. Message in the chat don't bother me one bit. But I felt like my instincts kicked in. I should be paying attention to this. It was the direct message in the chat. It was in all caps. And after I did the literally, your direct message said, not to be that guy.
But
There's something I should address. Okay, found some pepper. That's cool. Like, what's going on here? And there's a Zoom open mic, so his video's off and his mic's off. So I'm just pictures angry typing. He's writing, not to be that guy. He writes, but I think he meant to say figuratively instead of literally. Right? I'm like, dude, you're literally being that guy right now. So at another Zoom open mic, I did that bit too. The bio was literally the angry typing. I did that whole bit, and after my set, the host of the Zoom open mic said, "Niko, you did a great job. You should get paid lots of money to tell jokes on the internet." But what he actually said was, "You did a great job because I did."
literally.
I'm taking that. And then, but then what he said, and I could see him clearly and I can hear him clearly, but he said, "Hey, Niko, I don't know if you remember this, but I'm actually that guy." This story is absolutely true story. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing. So the next comedian's doing their set. So I'm a very professional Zoom comedian. So I'm whisper typing to the host, just saying, "Hey man, it's all cool." I just want to know, like, it was a fun bit. I appreciate it. Cool to connect. I was really happy to meet him. And then he messages back to me, and his mic's on, his video's on, and I swear to you, he's typing so loud you can't even hear the comedian that's on. It's like a typewriter. I'm like, oh. So I did the only reasonable thing, and I whisper type back to him, like, not to be that guy. But I'm pretty sure you meant to mute your microphone. But thanks for helping me add like 2 minutes to my set. So I did get busted selling weed. Remember before that guy?
Yeah.
I was the only Jew in juvenile hall. I put the Jew in juvie. And I got out way sooner than I should have. Beyond some obvious privilege, some stereotypes are true. My parents, the lovely Colleen and Al Lukoff here, hired a very good Jewish lawyer. Thanks, Mom and Dad. He went up to the judge and he said, "Let my people go." And they did. They're like, 3 years? Nah, 3 weeks. Yeah, you're free. Hava, you're free now. Hava. Yeah. Folks, it's been my time, but I think it's been a little while. Okay, I need to get. Sorry, I need my micro cake. That's been my time. I've been Samwise Gamgee, 20 years later. You've all been a blast. Love you all. Thank you so much.
Oh, Niko Lukoff. Hey, not to be that guy, but it's let my person go. All right. That's really funny. The microdosing. Yeah, I take the mushrooms all day long in little tiny bits, so I never feel it. What exactly is that? That's lunch. That's not actually getting high. Just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, Niko, one more time for Niko. What a great job.
Look off, everybody.
Woo!
And Mike, that was a hot ApocaLips Comedy Show, Mike. Great job to everybody. Andreas was
A
here.
great show.
Yeah,
You guys know me. I'm not a bragger. I don't brag.
Right. No, you shouldn't brag. Not with that material.
No,
But,
well,
the rest of the comedians, can brag.
I just take my cues from Chuck Roy.
Right. So you have been watching what a fun episode in the Niko Time. One more time for Niko Lukoff.
Yeah, Niko.
Andreas and Yale, thank you so much. We'll walk you out the exits, and everybody don't forget, we do one last sing-along at the end of the show. Mike leads the sing-along. He doesn't know the words or the tune. So
I act. I don't know the words or the tune.
Thanks to Elevating Connections. Stacey, we appreciate you being here. And thanks to you, our terrific audience. We appreciate you being here.
Woo!
Please be careful as you walk through our exits. Remain socially distanced and try to keep your mask on. And don't forget, Colorado's changed the orders downtown Denver outside. You got to wear a mask if you're, more than one person. And then in the neighborhood, they don't wear a mask. Streets sort of gone downhill right around the corner from Yale ApocaLips. So, feel free to enjoy. There's a variety of entertainment after the show. So, you pick, you choose. Either way, you probably lose. And, what can you say other than my ride? Right? My ride's here. Time for me to go. When you see the guy in gold, it's usually time for us to say goodbye to the YouTubers. But since so many of you sang along at the beginning of the show, and we could hear you if you remember, we'll invite you to stay for the final sing along. And today's sing along, Mike, you don't know the words or the tune. And I've decided to keep our fill in the blank theme. So feel free, everybody. You're gonna have to listen because Mike is gonna fill in the blanks. So follow the bouncing golden globe, and we're gonna sing along.
Like, how about a key? D maybe? That's D.
What a day for an ice cream.
It's Rick, don't stop.
Just keep strumming that guitar.
There's all the words.
No more blanks.
Blanks to the end.
Hey, Englewood,
where's my ballad? Where should you be? Should you be?
We clearly need a guitar every week.
Made my night.
What a
Everybody
pleasure.